Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. I appreciate club demonstrations, and I learn something from every one that I see. So a few weeks ago I saw a demonstration where they turned this style of vase. Now this is actually a multi-dimensional vase because in one aspect of it you see the outer shape of it. In another, if you look at it, you see the inner shape and the light that changes as it goes back and forth. But if you use green wood, wet wood, when you make the vase, you might get another dimension, and that is warpage. And I got a little bit of warpage, but not what I wanted from this. This was turned from green cherry, and I like it, but I wish it had a little bit more warping in these fins. Let's make this multi-dimensional vase.
When I received this batch of cherry, I ripped each piece in half, sealed the woods with end-grain sealer, and stored them in plastic garbage bags. It has been 9 months, but the wood is still very green and wet. I'm mounting the half log between centers for roughing out. This will be a little rough going until I can get it round. This is spindle gouge work. The final task, while still between centers, is to cut a mounting tenon on one end to mount into my scroll chuck. A skew does a great job for me with a peeling cut. With the wood now mounted to a chuck, I can start the enjoyable work. But first, I'm making some trimming cuts to ensure the wood is still round since the axis change. There are some cracks and a knot near the bottom end. I'm marking the extent of the cracks, then marking that point with a parting tool before wasting the excess wood from below the bottom just to get it out of the way. Now to start shaping the vase. I want a short neck and then a nice flowing line for the profile. A spindle gouge would be fine here, but I'm using my old favorite heavy bowl gouge. Whatever. Finally, I'm trimming the mouth with a parting tool. Now for the hard part. I've chosen to drill from the end with a Forstner bit. This is drilling into end grain, so even though the wood is wet, it is tough going. I'm starting with the bit held in a chuck in the tailstock. I can only advance slowly, about a half an inch at a time. After a couple of advances, I'm trying to clear chips with compressed air. It seems to help, but is not a total solution. I've reached the limit of the bit, so I'm now setting up to use an extension. I'll take a short break now while I find a set screw I dropped. The dust collector and a magnet helped me find it. Back to work pressing the bit into the end grain. The bit is getting very hot with each advance. To keep the wood wet, I'm spraying it with water. Why not cool a bit by spraying it also? Now with each advance, I pull the bit back, clear the chips, and spray it with water. The bit boils off the first couple of sprays. With a couple more, I can touch the bit and have another go at it. This is a slow go. With the center bored out, I'm not going to hollow anymore for this vase. This is going to be a different style. So now I'll do the final shaping of the exterior, then power sand it. Now for the technical part of this turning. I've sharpened my parting tool. Starting near the bottom of the neck, I'm cutting a groove to make a fin. The groove width is about 1 1/4 of my parting tool width. I don't want any burning. Then move down 1 width of the parting tool and cut the next one to the same width. I positioned my tool rest perfectly parallel to the ways and put tape on the parting tool to mark my depth. After each cut, I move down. It's hard to position each groove. I find it easier as the diameter enlarges to move down the 1/4 inch to start since my tool seems to want to slide downhill. And so on to the bottom of the vase. I sanded the interior just a little with sandpaper in a clamp before parting it off. When finished, I put the vase in a large plastic Ziploc bag and microwaved it several times to speed up drying and warping. Microwaving seems to be a compromise between accelerated drying with the wood more plastic from the heat versus cracking from too fast of drying. Finally, I wrapped plastic around the mouth and neck and the bottom and left it upside down to dry. Upside down because it still has a nub on the bottom I'll have to sand off. Ultimately, I sanded it again at the drill press with fine sandpaper before finishing with walnut oil. I was hoping the fins would warp a lot, but they haven't. Still, the vase has a unique look with the way the profile changes as the viewing angle changes slightly. The vase turned out well enough that I will try more variations on this theme. That's all for my vase. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell your friends. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough protection. Until next week, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. Come back next week for a new video.